Yeah, this is an important video. I get a lot of comments and questions that relate to this, so I want to make this video. If you're in a toxic situation, a situation that seems, keyword, seems that it's not becoming for you to wake up to your true nature because it's just so toxic. It can be health, it can be family, it can be relationships, or you can just be your living situation. Some of these countries, you know, it's just turmoil and madness. So the mind says, you can't wake up like in that situation. You need to be like out in the woods. Yash lives in the woods 24 hours, people think. So you need to be out here because then the vibrations, they're conducive, and then I can wake up. If I can't be in that situation, I can't wake up. That's a tactic that the mind will sell you and keep you stuck. It's not true. You have certain situations that are prescribed to you, and there's no accidents. And here's the thing. Here's the irony. Sometimes when you're in these very trying, challenging situations, it's actually easier to surrender. Don't start thinking you need to do, this is a big trap too. I don't know how many can hear this. I'm going to finish everything. This is important. The mind will sell you the idea that you need to have this kind of standard, official spiritual practice that you've read in a book or heard from a teacher or something. The people that like live a very sheltered, happy life with a trust fund, and then they can go and this is how you're supposed to wake up, and you go to your yoga classes and you do all that, and if you can't do that, then you can't wake up. You can't wake up if you're in a toxic situation. This is what the mind will try to sell you, because then it creates this, the mind wants you to feel despair and hopelessness and, oh man, I'm just so screwed now. It wants you to give up. It's not true. It's not that a spiritual practice and certain gymnastics that everybody does, that's not why they wake up. That might be a certain form that God's taking through those people, or they could be getting worse. You know how much spiritual ego is in these spiritual communities? Intruders coming. A lot. So I'm going to turn around because I don't want to break the flow. And when I go by them, then I got to kind of back it down. There's a lot of that nonsense in these spiritual communities that keep. They're not getting closer to their true nature. They're regressing, actually. But the mind's going to sell you the opposite. It's going to say, no, that's where you need to be. If you can't be there, then you got no chance. Really, the opposite's true. You notice how many opposites are more true than what we're conditioned to believe? There's so many. When you're in a trying situation, so I'm going back now to finish what I started to say, because I needed to say the other things so that this would make more sense. When you're in a very trying situation, challenging situation, it's easier to surrender in those situations. If you just use it for that there is all that's important, is the true surrender, to give up this constant self-will that's trying to make your life in a way that your mind thinks it should be. This is the real, this is what causes problems. You're in a situation, you're powerless, you can't do anything about it. It's extenuating. Use that as an opportunity to surrender. If somebody surrendered deeply, they don't need any spiritual practice or meditation, and you don't have to go to Vipassana, you don't need to go to retreats. You don't need to stand outside a guru's window for 24 hours waiting for him to touch your head. You don't need to do any of that. You might if you want, but you don't have to do it. It's all those things, whether they realize it or not, is a way to try to burn up this ego, this fight that you can say, this identity that the consciousness has with this individualized sense of self. That's what a spiritual practice is geared to do. But if one came into a surrender organically because of some extenuating circumstances, what do you got to do? There's already been some separation from this identity, because the identity, you suffered it too much. You can't take it anymore. And so then something just kind of let go. When something lets go, automatically there's more fusion with your individual sense of self with the source. This is what awakening is, this fusion, this merging. So I'm saying, use these challenges that you have for that. That can be a much higher spiritual practice that God has put you in, that you may not realize or see it that way, than if you had the Beverly Hills lifestyle to where you could just go to your yoga class in the morning, your meditation at night, and eat your raw vegan food all day. That's like, looks good on paper, but does it meet the acid test? Does it really work? Or can you go for years doing that, thinking you're getting somewhere and you're not getting anywhere? You're just going in circles. See, you can't use the mind to judge your circumstances. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And it doesn't last. It doesn't last forever. This is training. This is training. You've been administered a more intense class. Instead of going to take your course in one semester, you're taking it in like a weekend. It's more intense. It can go on for as long as it needs to go on for. Meaning, you might have to work this job that you're at that you don't like, that's toxic, like when I used to sell cars. You might have to be there for a while, I don't know. You might have to be living with your family and you don't really want to live there because like just the vibration's low and they don't understand you, they don't support you. You surrender to that and ask God, ask your own higher nature to guide you in those circumstances. You say, look, I can't, obviously if you can get out, get out. Yeah, if you can get out, get out. You can feel though, if you're supposed to get out or if like you're supposed to stay. Intuitively, you have to come to that recognition. But yeah, if you can get out, like there's no need to be somewhere like for no reason. But if you can't, I'm talking more to those people who can't, you turn this around. Instead of fighting your circumstances, fighting your experience, you turn that around and see, God, how can I use this to bless me? Because there's no accidents. Like you've come to realize that. I'm not here because bad luck and now I gotta like really, this is the problem with the medical field. When somebody gets diagnosed with some kind of disease, they want to fight it and kill it. No, there's a reason you have these symptoms. This is why I like holistic aspects of things. In a higher age, the medical and the holistic are going to be blended together. And then it's cool. But so you be aware and open to how you're supposed to perceive this situation you're in, and let these downloads come. We'll intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. This is a promise that it was in the AA Big Book. Yeah. Ask God to help you stay focused on that. Write that down and just stay with it. We'll intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. Because only a real answer or solution to some very baffling situations, the only thing that can give us solace is through intuition, because mind can't figure it out. It's too big for the mind. It's too big. Your situation or circumstance, it's too impossible to figure out logically. You can't use logical deductive reasoning to get out of it. Google can't help you. Teachers, whatever, they can't help you. A good teacher will guide you into what I'm guiding you into. They'll recognize, oh yeah, like this person, actually, it's not about trying to get out. It's about leaning into it and seeing what's there for you. Because then, when that training finishes, then automatically you're going to be at a higher space, and then you're going to manifest something that's more matching for you. See, the mind wants to manifest the matching thing now. Don't work. You got to go through the grind for a bit, and then you'll be prepared and qualified to handle what your true matching circumstances look like. The friction is because you somehow intuitively know already that like this situation isn't for you. This isn't matching. So the mind takes that and starts rebelling against it. And I'm saying no. Yeah, of course, intuitively you know this isn't your situation. Have faith and trust that that's going to change, because it will. It just will. Trust that what you're going through now isn't in vain, because it's just not. Ask God to help show you that. This is what you need. You need that power. And then that's an alchemist. You're like transforming like metal into gold. These bad circumstances or hellish situations, it's like poison. You're transforming it into medicine now. This is just the truth. All right, I'll see you.